Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday Night Knit Chat. Welcome to the Knit Chat Cafe. We are coming to you from southwestern Ontario in Canada. We're probably about 25 minutes apart, wouldn't you say? If you drive the speed limit.
20 minutes the way I drive.
Okay. But anyway, both in relatively the same location. So welcome everybody that's here. This is our Tuesday night little international get together.
Yes.
So my name is Noelle and this is my friend
Kelly.
And we are a mostly knitting podcast, although we do delve into some other crafts too, but mostly knitting. And yeah, we're glad that you're all here joining us. I think today it was sweater weather was the first one in there at like early this morning.
Yes, and it is sweater weather still.
It is
here.
sweater weather. I saw snow a few minutes ago. I was looking out and there is snow out there.
We had freezing rain and snow on Sunday. And despite the fact that spring is here, you would not know it by the weather. So it came in like a lion. So hopefully, yeah, you know what that means. It means going out like a lamb.
I can't even start to think about knitting summer things.
Oh, I think about it, but I'm not ready to start.
I still want to knit all the woolly things.
I know, right? I know.
So,
yeah.
Anyway, but welcome everybody. We're glad that you're all able to join us. And we also want to thank everybody that comes in and watches us after the fact, because we know everybody can't make it necessarily at the time that we go live, but we're just glad that you're all here. I want to say happy birthday to Beth. I saw some chatter in there that said it was Beth's birthday. So happy birthday to Beth. And Linda said that she's just knitting her first pair of socks with mohair in them. And why didn't she do this before? And that's what we're all saying.
Right? I know.
So glad that you're enjoying it, Linda. And you won't believe how nice and cozy and toasty warm they feel on your feet. So
amazing. Yes.
And also, Joanne was saying, remember when we first started doing this, and I used to go through the roster and I'd say, hi, Kim, and hi, Jean, and hi, Kathy, and hi, Kristen, and like romper room. And we just can't do that anymore.
We certainly can't.
There's just so many people, but we extend a big hi to everybody. So
I do want to say a hello to Crystal, though. I did see, and Crystal is coming in from Nova Scotia. And Crystal, we were busy on the weekend with our friends planning our route to the East Coast this summer. We're going to be leaving just after mid-month June, and we will be heading to the East Coast for about a month. I'm extremely excited. I grew up in, I've said this many times before, but I grew up in Nova Scotia in the Annapolis Valley, mostly in Annapolis Royal specifically, which is the oldest North American settlement. It's very, very small, quaint little town on the Bay of Fundy. And we will be heading, that is sort of one of our points that we're heading back to. And so I have some visiting to do there, but we're also doing other parts of Nova Scotia as well. And actually, even though I grew up in Nova Scotia, we are doing like the Cabot Trail, and I never have done that before. Even the fact that I grew up there, we just didn't see even the entire province. So we're doing that. We're heading over to PEI, and we have some stops to make in New Brunswick as well. So we are looking forward to a great trip this summer.
Yeah, it's spectacular. I like that, and you will love the Cabot Trail. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So I did a few different hikes, and I could still go back again because it's like, it's not, I mean, it's not huge, but it's not small either. Like it's a lot to see. And if you're going to do a lot of the hikes, it does take time.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that'll be a perfect time to go. I know we've been there more in the fall, which is beautiful then too, but.
Jean is saying beautiful botanical gardens there. And I don't know if you're talking about the historic gardens in Annapolis Royal or not, Jean, but yes. So across from the historic gardens, there used to be a little, it was a bridge which led to the only stoplights in the entire town, a little four-way stop. And just kind of partway under that bridge was the home that I grew up in. And it was a century home. It was very old, over 100 years old. It was a beautiful home. And my dad had some amazing gardens of his own, and it overlooked, there was a train station that went, a train track there was this train station, would have been over the embankment from our backyard. And lots of people who would go and visit the gardens would then sort of come across the street. They seemed to think that maybe our house and all of its beautiful gardens were kind of like a little add-on to the property. And my dad even actually went over there and did some speaking to some of the Garden Society meetings. So yeah, we had yes, Jean says Annapolis Royal. So yeah, that's
yeah. I know I've been to
where it
Annapolis
was.
Royal a couple of times, and it is a beautiful city, town, city. It's not big.
No, it's not big at all.
No.
But you know what? We had a really, thinking back, like to high school, for such a small town, we had a really large graduating class. My grade 12 class, I believe we were 93 graduates. However, we were pulling from a fairly large area as well. And then we also had any of the families that were stationed at CFB Cornwallis, which is where my dad worked. They would come to our high school as well. So we had a pretty big school, and we actually had 2 high schools in that town, because we had a junior high, grades 7 through 9, and we had a senior high, which was grades 10 through 12. So yeah, we did have for a small town, we did have kind of a booming little school population anyway.
Okay, so we should probably get started. So did you have any questions this week?
There was one question. You might have it on your list. It was talking about bust shaping.
Yep.
Yes. Okay. All right. I'll let you carry on.
Well, I just did a kind of a quick look, and there is a tutorial and information on the cocoaknits.com website. They have a whole article that is how and why to work bust darts. Like, I have not ever had to make bust darts.
Nor have I.
So I can't comment to how effective it is, but I like the idea behind the fact that it actually tells you why and when to use them. And I kind of took like a quick skim of it, and it told you how to do them if you were just knitting flat, and also if you were knitting in the round. They also had a video attached to it. So I think Coco Knits is a fairly reputable source. So
with
I
a
will link
comprehensive
that in the show notes. Yeah. So
now, are they specifically addressing bust darts? Is that okay? So there is another method, and we've talked a little bit about that, and that's a method that Nancy Wheeler uses. And that is where when she's knitting a sweater in the round, she moves more stitches to the front of the sweater. So I'm not exactly sure which episode it was in. Maybe I think
she actually might have a specific episode.
She does have a specific episode.
She knits sweaters, so I can link that too. So,
and that is Nancy Wheeler, who is Knit Sip Happy. So maybe we can find that episode, and we can try to link that as well, because I know that that's a really helpful. We even talked about doing that knitting socks to give us more heel depth by moving some extra stitches to that side of the sock, so that you get extra stitches and a deeper depth if you have a high instep. So it's useful in your knitting to know things like that, because you can find more than just one application for them.
Yeah. And when you're looking at sweater patterns too, like a lot of times there are a lot of designers that actually incorporate how to do bust darts or bust darts for their specific pattern right into the pattern. So I've not really looked for that, so I'm not positive, but I know that when you go into Ravelry, like there's a bunch of tags that will tell you about a specific pattern before you buy the pattern. And sometimes it might be in there. There might be a little tag that says bust dart shaping, which would give you an idea that that pattern does that. And I do believe that Rebecca Clow, who's the Crayabea, I do believe she has some of her patterns where she actually does some bust shaping in the pattern for like anybody that needs that adjustment in their finished garment. So
okay,
that was that. And the only other question I had was about my scarf and where I got it. And I'll take it off because I'm going to get
I left mine upstairs. I wanted to show it off tonight. Okay, I'll make a note to bring it next week.
So I actually got this scarf when I was up in Muskoka at the Muskoka Yarn Connection, and they are hand painted by someone that is up in the area, and they're gorgeous. So they have this size, and then they also have the big square. So I will link Muskoka Yarn Connection in the show notes too. I'm not sure if you can buy it online, but I know you can contact Michelle if you're interested and she could let you know what they've got available. So
yeah. And I was lucky enough.
It's got so many colors.
I know, it's pretty.
I love it. Yeah.
And I was lucky enough to be gifted one from Noelle for my birthday. And so I'm looking really forward to wearing that. And I left it upstairs.
And they're nice because they're not like, I mean, in the summertime especially, it's, well, too hot to really to wear a knit scarf, but sometimes you just want a little something at your neck just to give whatever you're wearing a little pop of color. So I've been on the lookout for them, but they're not that easy to find. So
I always check whenever I go thrifting. I'm always looking in the scarf section. You're supposed to be able to go to thrift stores and find these, you know, like lovely scarves and maybe an Hermes silk scarf or something. Yet have I to find one there, but I always keep looking. I was there today. Didn't see
find one.
No. Okay. Found some other things, but not that.
Okay, so Kim is saying that Jennifer, here, I'll just put it up because I can't read the name. Huge advocate and designer of patterns that have bust art. So for anybody that's interested, that might be another good resource to go to. So.
Yeah, and this one as well, also from Kim, it's One Wild Designs, also incorporates Elizabeth Margaret's designs as well with the bust shaping. And somebody else mentioned, oh, well, Natalie does the bust arts in her Merry Mint sweater. And then also Joanne reminds us that Natasha Hornby uses them in a bunch of her patterns as well. So there's some other designers for you to check out. And also we talked a little bit about this last week because I had on my Cozy Classic Raglan, and that's a particular cast on method that you and I both really like. So don't be afraid if you have made a pattern in the past with a specific technique in it that you really liked. That does not mean that you can't incorporate that method into future knits that you have. If there's something that you know, I do that often. I may be knitting one pattern, but I'm like, oh, hey, I remember doing this in another pattern. I liked it. And then I'll go back in and look that up. And then I incorporate that into the pattern. So that's just something else that you can do as you become more comfortable with your knitting.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And it is. It's like, it's a lot of times you'll really like how a designer does a particular thing. Yeah. And you know, like we've talked before, there's not just one way to do things in knitting. So I'm sure it's the same with bust arts. There's probably various different methods that you can use. So if you find one that you like and works for you, that usually can be incorporated into other patterns as well. Yeah. So okay, that was all I had for questions.
Okay, well, this is a question that just came in. Sean wants to know what brand makes sock yarn that does not have wool. Her friend is allergic to wool. And Irene has answered with the Barocco Comfort Sock. There's no wool in that. There is also it Bamboo Pop that comes to mind.
There's Regia. They do a brand that's got cotton and nylon and no wool in it. I can't think of. I don't know if some of the ones at like Michael's, whether they've got some brands that don't have any, like they might be 100% acrylic and they don't have any yarn and any wool in them, but I can't remember offhand the name. So, but the Barocco Comfort Sock, I have used it in the past for someone that doesn't like wool. And I don't like knitting it as much, but I mean, if it means a difference between someone being able to wear a sock and not wear a sock.
Yes. Yeah.
So.
Okay, here's another one too. Louise says Kobosi. That's not a brand I'm familiar with, but it says
they actually used to have it at Little Red Mitten. I think it's
okay. So they do a non-wool yarn as well. Can you remember who makes the pot bamboo? I have some in my stash.
I think it's Universal.
Is it Universal? So there are a few. Okay.
Yeah, so there are a few options. Yeah, it's hard because even some of the ones that we like that do have some acrylic in them, they do still have some of that component of wool. Like the Barocco Vintage Sock has the 40% wool, just like the other Barocco Vintage yarns. And it's Kobasi. It's cotton, bamboo, silk.
Okay, so that's the correct spelling, Kobasi.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's by Haiku. And Universal is the bamboo pop. So.
Susan says hello. She's driving back to BC from Calgary at the moment, but she wanted to say hi. Keep your eyes on the road, Susan.
Yes, no kidding. Watch the road. Watch the road.
Okay, so
So,
Kim is telling us too that Kobasi stands for cotton, bamboo, and silk. Very
okay.
clever. There we go.
Okay. So we should move on to what we're wearing.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I am wearing, what am I wearing? I'm wearing Mimi by Tricot Design MCL, and I think I might have did this 2 winters ago. I can't remember. Anyways,
I hope
it's
so, because I still have my yarn untouched. And if you say 2, or no, I hope not. I hope it was last winter, because then I will just feel bad that I've had it for 2 years and still haven't done anything with it. But this
I
is
just
probably the second winter. Yeah, I
so
think you're right.
anyway, so this is Mimi by Tricot Design MCL. And this is done in Holstgarn, 2 yarns from Holstgarn. One is the Holstgarn Coast, which is a blend of 45% cotton, 55% lamb's wool, and the Holstgarn Lucha, which is 42 alpaca, 35 silk, 13 merino, and 10% yak. And the 2 yarns hold together just make like an unbelievable fabric. It's just feels amazing. So I knitted on 3.5 and 4.5 millimeter needles. So the body of the sweater would have been done on a 4.5 millimeter needle. In total, I ended up using 95 grams of the Lucha, and the Lucha comes in 25-gram skeins, so much like a silk mohair, although it fills in more than the silk mohair. It's a little bit thicker, but I do believe there's about 200 yards or meters in a 25-gram skein. And then the Holstgarn Coast, I used 225 grams of that. The Coast color is saffron, and the Lucha color is papaya, and they go beautifully together. And I loved this design. Is very well written. I loved knitting it. I love the ruffle at the top. It just gives it that little something. Really comfortable sweater to wear. I've got more of this yarn. I really need to get busy and get another sweater done in it, because it really does feel nice wearing it.
Yep.
So, okay. So that's what I'm wearing.
And I am wearing the Riptide Vest by Jennifer Shields Toland. And I made this in the drop soft tweed, and it's color 14, which is Kirsch Sorbet. Now, when you get this pattern, actually, both options for the round, she released them at 2 separate times, but then added it into the pattern. So you get either, excuse me, a round neck version or the V-neck version. And aside from the neck choices, you also get the choice of a straight vest. There was some body shaping. You could do a split hem. You could do a straight hem. There were a lot of options in the pattern, and I do have a couple of photos of it. So it has this really nice pattern down the front of it, the Riptide pattern specifically. I did the split hem, and the hem at the back is a little bit longer than the one in the front. And I really love this pattern. And then on the back, she has repeated the Riptide detail as well. And it's a great vest to wear. This is absolutely fantastic yarn too. It's the price point. I purchased mine from Wool Warehouse when it was on sale, but even when this yarn is not on sale, it's still a great price point. And I think I used it was less than 5 skeins. It was like 4.15 skeins maybe. So it's quite decent yardage. I have one here because I happened to buy more when I was in London a couple of weeks ago, and there are on the cake there, it's a 50-gram cake, and you get 142 yards. It's a DK weight, and it is comprised of 50% wool, 25 alpaca, and 25% viscose. And I think that's the neps. And what I specifically like about a tweed yarn when I'm working with it, I like the neps to be really well integrated into the yarn. And this one is like, they barely look like neps, but it gives such a beautiful texture to the garment after you've knit it up. So I bought this thinking I definitely want to make another vest. And I've looked at several vest patterns, and I just keep coming back to the idea that this is ultimately my favorite vest that I've made to date. It's things that I like about it are the narrower
Shoulders.
Thank you. the narrower shoulders. I like the depth of the V. I like her finishes in the pattern. I think it finishes really professionally looking. So I was talking to Noelle about this, and I think I'm actually going to make another vest in this color. But I will either, and I hope Jennifer won't be put out by this at all, because I love the pattern, but I already have 2 of these vests now. So I was thinking I would either leave off the pattern at the front, or tonight when I was putting this on, I thought, you know what? I absolutely love the idea of a very beautiful cable going down the front of the vest, and I could just slightly offset it, sort of the width like here. And there's a couple of patterns out there for a lovely big cable, something nice and intricate, and I think that might really set the vest off. So I will be playing around with that, I think, because I do like vests as a transition piece. You can wear them in the cooler weather with like a long sleeve shirt, or a longer t-shirt. And then in the summer, if you still want to wear it, because this isn't very warm, or not heavy, I guess is the word I'm trying to say. So you won't overheat in it. I can still wear this into the warmer weather, and then you can throw it on with a t-shirt. So, and this is just like one of those, perfectly neutral colors. I think I would get a lot of wear out of. So that might be coming up in my future.
Yeah, and it is a great pattern too. I see that Rosie said that she wears hers when she's away. She uses sparkle yarn and she uses it just like as a top. And I know that one of mine I've done in coast, and yeah, I can wear it just as a summer top with the yarn that it's in. So because it's got nice shape at the armholes, it doesn't come down like too low, so you can still wear a bra underneath it.
You're right. I could wear that. Yeah, it's not too deep at all. So,
but it is a fun pattern to knit. So
it is
like that you just get in a rhythm with that stitch pattern, and it is fun. Goes fast.
Yeah, actually, this color would look really nice in the summer if you had like some cream linen, either a skirt to go with it or cream linen pants. Isabel comes to mind when I say that. Isabel has the nicest linen pants and skirts. Always when I see her, they fit her really nicely. She always looks good.
So Sharon was asking if anybody had a good alternative for a worsted boucle. Zanette Knits just dropped a new pattern today, and she didn't want to knit it in boucle. I'm with you on the boucle. It's not that I don't mind boucle, but you cannot see the stitches in that yarn. So if you have to do anything with it, so I would say, I think someone did suggest, where was it? A Surrey with a. Let me just see if I can find it. A wool held with a Surrey, yeah, and I think that's a good. That's a good alternative. You're still going to get a little bit of fluffiness from the Surrey, but you're still going to be able to see your stitches. It's still going to be like a light fabric. So I guess the most important thing is you just have to get a combination of yarns that are going to match what the gauge is of the pattern.
Well, the sweater that you're wearing right now would probably be almost a suitable alternative, don't you think? Yeah. Or is it a little heavier?
Well, the coast is pretty light though, right? So
right. Yeah.
I wouldn't say this is heavy. I don't know what the stitch gauge of the original pattern is, but she's saying a worsted. So I would say a worsted would be close to this, but maybe a little bit heavier. So. Okay. Well, it looks like there's some good suggestions in here. There's Mary Jane saying that Cascade has a cotton sock.
Okay.
So I think you can find them if you look. They're probably not as easy to get as a lot of the ones that contain wool, but so okay, so we should move on to, do you have any finishes? Okay, I have 2. so
I have very little knitting this week, I will admit. My wrist was not happy knitting this week.
Okay, so we were talking about mohair socks. I finished them.
Oh, they look so good.
So these are my scrappy mohair socks. So these are knit with yarn. The cream colored yarn that's my base is yarn that was sent to us by Elite Spun. It is their 80/20 superwash merino nylon. It comes in 115 gram skein, so you get good yardage in the ball. This took 48 grams to do this pair of socks.
Very
so 48
nice.
grams of the base, but then I've got all different kinds of leftover little scraps of mohair that I had. And altogether, there's about 20 grams of mohair. So like, if you've got like about, I think I've got 10 colors in here. If you've got like 2 grams of some colors, you can get like, you can go pretty far with your leftover scraps to use them up. So I just kind of took the pink and kind of put in like kind of to pull it together, doing the heel, the toe, and the cuff in the pink. I started off at the top just for something different, for a change, in a 2x1 rib instead of a 1x1 rib, just to do something different. It's just basically if you follow a DK weight sock pattern, mine has 48 stitches and it's done on a 3mm needle. So yeah, so just a basic sock. And you're just dropping, every time you change, you're just dropping the old mohair and putting in the new mohair. So you never have to worry about, there's no ends to sew in as far as your color that's holding it all together, your cream color. And the mohair ends are so easy to just like weave in at the end. I didn't even go back and forth because they're so skinny and light that they
could actually just
you could do it.
Hold your 2 mohairs together over,
yes, you could,
say like, 8 or 9 stitches, and then you'd be able to just cut them. They would never come out. Yeah, but they feel really good. They feel really nice. So
yeah, won't be my last pair of mohair socks, as you will see.
I know. Same. I may have cast more on today. Yes. Or not today, yesterday.
Okay. So then my next finished object is my Bergman by Caitlin Hunter. I don't have any pictures in it yet because I just took it off the blocking mats.
Oh, and it looks so good.
I'm really happy with how this turned out. So this was knit with Nutidin and mohair. So the Nutidin, the main color, the cream color, is called Snow. This color, I don't know. The top color, I don't know what it's called, but it's got so many, I don't know if you can see it, but it's got so many nuances in it. There's like a little bit of like purple and pink, and
yeah, it's really
just
pretty.
An absolutely gorgeous color. So the Snow I held with the Elite Spun mohair that we purchased back a while ago, and I'm using it all the time.
I know.
So that was
same.
So this whole sweater only has 51 grams of that mohair in it. So
we're going to end up having to order more, and we thought we'd never get through that.
Oh, I thought I wouldn't, but I think we will get through it. And then the other color, the kind of like the pinky brown color, is held with lichen and lace marsh mohair in the colorway Pressed Flowers. So basically, I didn't make a whole lot of changes to the pattern. I did the neckline the way she said. My row gauge, my stitch gauge matched the pattern, but my row gauge was, it took me less rows to get the distance than hers. So, but my yoke finished right where I needed it to finish. So that was lucky. And then the difference that I made was she goes straight down, and then she does a couple of like increases around at the bottom before you get into that detail at the bottom. I didn't want that drastic change, so I just did my decreases down the side and did it kind of like waist shaping, so that it just kind of gradually went down to the number of stitches that I was supposed to have for the bottom rib. So the bottom rib again is a 2x2 rib or 2x1 rib, and same with, you get down to the end of the sleeve and there's a little bit of color work detail before you get into the 2x1 rib for the bottom.
Yeah, it's a really pretty pattern.
It's a really nice pattern. And I mean, the yoke is just like, you're just addicted to doing it. I did have a couple of places where I actually did ladder back jacquard, just for a couple of rows. Yep, because I didn't want when you're holding the mohair and the other yarn, I didn't want it to stick through. And it is, especially down here in the cream, when you've got a cream colored background, it is a lot harder not to have that stitch poke through if you catch it. So if you do the ladder back jacquard, you're not going to see that.
That's right.
Anyway, super happy with this. Again, I have to say thank you to Candace for the Nutidin. I don't know if I should say thank you, because now I'm going to have to go on that website and buy more, because I love knitting with it.
It's so nice, right? Yes, it's lovely.
And so for one of these, when I got down to one, I did roll it into a ball And I did find it easier. I rolled it into a ball, put it in just a bowl, and I did find it easier and less breakage if I did it like that.
Okay, maybe that's what I should
So
try. Yeah.
it does take a few minutes at the beginning to roll it all into a ball, but I did find it easier to work with once I'd done that.
Okay.
So, yeah, but
So pretty.
Definitely a great pattern and fun knit. So
Nice.
yeah,
Very nice.
and it's still cold enough to wear it.
Yes, and I think you're going to get a few wears out of it, actually.
I know. Maybe the coffee shop on Saturday.
Yeah, maybe.
So, okay. So
how about before
what?
we move into that, why don't we talk about the Makealongs that we're hosting? I'll pull that up because we are coming up to the end of the month.
End.
Today's the 25th.
This will be the last. So next week will be April Fool's Day.
Joke's on you. All right. So we have coming to an end, well, not an end, but just to an end for the month, our year-long sock along. And that is where, as you're making socks, you just put them into the Makealong on Ravelry, and we draw 2 prizes each month at the end of the month. And you have 2 chances to win. One is for a pattern, which is from our friend Natalie of Natalie _ help me out.
Natalie Sheldon no.
Oh, it's Natalie, we're so sorry.
I think it's Natalie Sheldon _ remembrances.
Okay, that's it. I'm going to put a sticky note. I'm putting a sticky note. Natalie, you can't just change your name after we've known you forever. Anyway, we'll get it sorted out. And so that's prize number 1. Prize number 2 is always a sock yarn prize. And as I said, so that's coming up at the end of this month. And yeah. Get your socks in. Get your socks in.
No matter when more pairs you get in there, the earlier you get them in there, the more chance you have to win.
Great, because we draw all the way back to the beginning of the year each month.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, and the next one that we have going on is our Not Selfish Knitter Makealong. So that is coming to an end on March the 31st. So we know we all did a lot of gift knitting before Christmas. And so we started January 1st, and we were going to either knit something for ourselves or something that we just really want to knit that brings us joy knitting it. So any project, minimum 50 grams of yarn and no whips. So it could be, a pair of socks that you wanted to do for yourself, or could be something that you really wanted to make for someone else, but it wasn't for Christmas and you didn't have a chance to get started on it till after, but you really wanted to do it. So Again, get your finished objects in there, and we will draw for that next Tuesday before we podcast. So
we will. Haven't figured out what our prize is going to be for that yet. I have some options here on the prize shelf, so I'll surprise you next week. And we probably should have put some thought into what the next quarter is, but we will have to do that this week, Noelle, and then we will have a new post for you next week.
Yeah, because that'll just be the first day anyway, so that'll just be April 1st. So
okay.
So do you have any works in progress?
I do. I've got 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
I have an update. I didn't bring it down, but is that what you have too?
I have 5.
You have 5. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Well, my first one is I finished my whole first sock.
Very nice. Very nice.
This is the Canon by Kuua Coffee. This is a sock for Christmas 2025. I have to think that because I had to make another doctor's appointment. They're like, oh, we'll see you in November. And she puts down November something 2026. I'm like, do you mean 2025? Like, did I miss a year? But anyways, it is for Christmas 2025. So this is a pattern by Kuua Coffee, who has beautiful patterns on Ravelry, which are free. A lot of them were patterns that were featured in One Year Another of Sock Madness, which is actually going on right now, I think, because it should be almost coming to a close, I think. I think it's March. But anyway, so this one features like a cable, and that kind of like an enclosed cable.
That one goes well with the sweater you're wearing again this week too.
I know. It's got detail that goes down into the heel of the sock. And then the sole of the sock is just knit plain. Mine is done in Barocco vintage sock in the color pumpkin. Gorgeous, gorgeous color. And this yarn is so nice. It shows the definition like so well. And if you're putting this much detail into a sock, like you do really want to be able to see it.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, so I just have to get another one finished by the end of the month, which is 6 days.
You haven't started it?
No.
Okay. Well, you whizzed along on that one. You said you were able to memorize the pattern and
yeah. We'll see. Yep.
Petra's asking if anyone in here has ever done Sock Madness. I have not.
I
don't have it in me. I don't think they're
I don't like the fact that you have to do it to a specific size. And then, so that means if you were doing it for someone else, then a lot of times you have to rip out and resize it. Well, I don't want to do that.
Right. Yeah.
So anyway, I mean, they look interesting and I like trying some of them after, but I don't.
And the techniques are always interesting because I think they try to bring like new elements into a sock.
Yeah. Like I like that. I like that. Yes. Like the idea of all the new things, different techniques, trying to get it done on a time crunch. But I just wish it could be like
a sock if you're choosing
specific size. Yeah.
Or a sock your size. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways.
Okay. Well, I wanted to see how my hand was feeling back on those 9-inch circulars. I'm sorry. I know I probably that's where I like to live. Okay. I'm sorry. I can't.
Well, I don't think you want to live where you've lived for the past 4 months.
No, I don't. But it's where I like to knit. So I thought I'll just try it. So what I did find is if I was wearing my brace, I could knit on the 9-inch circulars and it wasn't hurting my wrist any more than the wrist was already hurting. So what I pulled out is my, I have a banner. This is a design by Summer Lee Designs. It's called Ode to Barbara. And I started these before my hand hit the mat. And I got one of them finished and I had just barely cast on the second one. So what I was able to do this week is that I did get all the way down past the heel on the second one. So yeah, so I think I have 5 pattern repeats. Each repeat is 8 knitted rows. So I've got 5 pattern repeats, I think, before I get down to the toe on this one. And I love this pattern. I really do. And I'm using the most glorious yarn. This is by Ginger Snap, and it is their yak sock in pinky pink. So this is 437 yards and 100 grams, and it is 70 merino, 20 yak, and 10 nylon. So you can wear it as a sock. But this color is, look at this color, and the stitch definition of this yak yarn is really gorgeous. So yes, very happy with these. I'm looking so forward to getting these done because I know I'm going to wear the heck out of these. So they have ribbing all the way around the sock, except for that little pattern. And the pattern is over, let me think, over 14 stitches, and it's an 8-row pattern repeat, and it's pretty easy. I pretty much have it memorized. Honestly, it's just sometimes I keep the little chart up there in front of me as a place marker, just so I sort of see. I don't have to count the rows or anything, but I really like the pattern and I'm anxious to have these done. They've been on the needles a long time and I'll be excited to see them finish. But yes, such pretty yarn. I still have quite a bit of it left, so there'll be more yak sock in my future. Okay.
Okay, so my next project is a new pair of mohair socks that I started, and these are Old Shale Bed Socks by Katinkia. So I do have a picture here. So even though they're called like bed socks, it's basically just the tension of them, right? They're like a 48 stitch socks. It's actually a free pattern. I'm basically just using the stitch pattern from it. Okay, so how these socks came about is I went to the coffee shop on Saturday and I had got my one that I always work on, but I'm doing it on Flexi Flips. and I forgot the one flexi flip at home. So I only had the 2
Yes.
needles, so I couldn't work on it. But I had my little bucket bag that I made with all my mohair scraps in it just to show everything that it held. And I still had the needle in there, the 3mm needle and the base yarn. I'm like, well, I got to start a new pair of socks because I have to knit something. So I didn't know I was going to make these socks at that point. All I did know was that I was going to cast on 48 stitches and do the ribbing. So I cast on 48 stitches, I did the ribbing, and then I went home and looked for a pair of socks on Ravelry that I would be able to do. So I have got the first sock done.
Oh, that's pretty.
So this is,
So pretty.
this is again, it's the base yarn underneath is the Elite Spun 80/20 merino nylon. And then both of these mohairs are drops. The one is called Heather, and I think the other one is Light Lilac. So you can see a difference that I did to the pattern was I did the stitch pattern on the back as well.
Very nice.
So I did the stitch pattern on the back and on the front. I don't know whether, I did. The pattern did have a heel flap and a gusset. It's a Eye of Partridge heel.
Yes.
Which is kind of nice for a change. Then I switched back into the main color, and then I just did my own toe that I didn't follow the pattern for the toe. So if you know how to knit socks, I wouldn't say the pattern is perfect, but if you know how to knit socks, like basically you're just looking at it for like the stitch pattern and that. So again, super easy, but yeah, I'm really happy with it. So
very pretty.
I just can't get enough of this mohair.
I know. So. I can't either. So, okay, well, I'll show you what I cast on. So these are just regular socks because the yarn. I have to show you the yarn. So this is the yarn uncaked. So this came about, I put in an order from the Little Red Mitten for some yarn, and I got this in the mail. It says, "You've been punked." And this is the craziest color of yarn. I swear, they took every color in their dye pots and just sort of tossed it in. You can't even see all of the colors in this picture. So it's one of those skeins. You're like, oh, what am I going to do with that? So I had this idea, okay, I'm going to do this with the mohair. So this is their You've Been Punked colorway, which is a very fun little label with all of their cute stickers. It is an 80/20, but it's 115 grams. And I think when I weighed it, it was actually 121 grams. So it's a very generous skein. There would be 490 yards in here. There's lots of yarn. So when I caked it up, it got even crazier. Look at this. Look at this cake of yarn. Look at the colors in there. It's just, there's everything. There's pretty much every color in there. So when we were doing these mohair socks, and even after you had done the different color mohair, I thought, you know what? This is a yarn that is screaming for some mohair to tame it down a little bit. So I cast them on, and I'm just doing 48 stitches as well. This is just a basic sock pattern. So I'm also using the Elite Spun mohair that we got. And I'm telling you, this is the new Frank's hot sauce for me. We putting this on everything because we call mohair a condiment, and this is a condiment I want to use everywhere. But look at how beautiful these are together, and wait until you see this sock. This sock is so fun. Look at this.
Oh yeah, it looks good.
Look at what that does. It just turns it into a beautiful, like not even watercolor, but there's like so much, there's so many colors happening in here.
And
it's almost like a speckle. Yeah. So like, yes. So it goes from this to this when you add the mohair, and look at that. I think this is such a pretty sock. So then I paired it with, I had a random skein of blue mohair, and I had some, oops, it's in a baggie. I had some purple. This is a stroll from Knit Picks colorway. So that I put together, and that's where I got this like really pretty, it's like a peacocky purpley blue. And then I'm going to do just the whole sock in this watercolor. I'm going to do a heel flap and gusset, because here's the thing. I wear my socks with a lot of clogs. And what I'm finding is when I have an open back shoe, you know, because it's so fashionable to wear socks and clogs or socks and Birkenstocks. But anyway, that's what I do. And I like my heel to be the same color as the rest of my socks. So I'm going to do the heel flap and gusset in this colorway as well. And then I will probably do dark colored toes, or I may not. I may just run the sock out, but I did want a little bit of contrast on the cuff. And I think they're turning out really, really cute. These are so fast to make, friends. I cast this on yesterday and last night, sorry, and I knit the cuff and maybe 6 rows of color just to see what I was working with. And then this afternoon, while I was making dinner and a little bit after I finished dinner, I did the rest. Like, they really do go quickly. And I'm knitting these on 3mm needles as well, the same as Noelle. And I am on a 9-inch circular. But the 3mm, they're bigger. So this doesn't, I do find this weight of socks is not really hindering my hand. And that's another reason for making so many of the larger gauge patterns right now.
Yeah.
That's a little easier on me. So yeah, okay.
Okay, so my next is the sock that I was supposed to be working on at the coffee shop. So this is where I showed you last week. I'd finished the one, so I've actually gotten this far on the second one. So these are just like a mock. Well, it is a cable sort of. It's a twisted stitch sort of that I'm doing all the way down. It's just my coffee shop knitting. The sock yarn is Scrumptious Pearl in the colorway My Ranch, My Rule. She does beautiful self-striping yarn. Like, the colors are amazing, and doing those on the flexi flips. So that's what the ball looks like. And that's what I actually, that's all I had to wind off so that I could start at the same
Nice.
for the second sock.
Yes.
So it's always nice when that happens, that you're not winding off a whole bunch, but that's all. But it might be good for a heel and toe in one of the little socks. So I'm not going to throw it out. I can't. I just can't throw it out. Anyway. So that's still my coffee shop knitting, if I remember to bring the other needle with it.
Very good. Very good. Carol had asked if I wound off some of the socks so that they'll be the same. No, there's absolutely no rhyme or reason to this, Carol. This yarn, I don't think there's a repeat in there. It's really just, it's just like a ball of chaos, and I am here for it. This is chaos I can get behind. It's just pretty, and the color runs are so short in it. Like, like, you know, there's a color run. It's already changing. Like, it's just really super fast color change. So it's gives me like that joy that a self-striping gives me, only it's giving me that joy every 30 seconds because you get out of a color and you're like, oh gosh, what's the next color going to look like?
You just want to see what's happening.
It's so pretty. Like, there are literally, I can't even count how many colors are in this sock, but I think it's really going together good. I bet y'all wear them a lot. All right. The other thing that I'm working on, and I think I worked on this week, but I will just show it again in case I didn't. I think I have it according to the pattern. I only have 1 inch left, and then I have to start the sleeves. Well, I should have done the sleeves first, but to me that seems very short. So I think I'm going to have to do it a little bit longer. But this is the Sattler sweater, and this is again in the neutered in, but this is neutered in held double. And this is a pattern by Bristol Ivy. And I had a banner for her.
I just put it up.
Oh, sorry. There it is. Okay. Yeah. So the Sattler sweater by Bristol Ivy. This is a new pattern that she brought out. I have a finished picture of it, of her sweater. And I mean, it is quite a short sweater, but that does not look quite like I'm there yet, but I will check it out again. This I did find. Did you find that your neutered in grew after you blocked it?
Not really. I found it just kind of more settled down. Like, no, I don't, but I didn't try to pull it or do anything to it either.
No.
So
I really need to get some more time in on this. I was trying to finish my Alpenglow sweater. I did finish one sleeve done, bound off. So I'm onto the second sleeve. That, because Where I find the sleeve easiest to work on, to be fair, is if I'm actually sitting at a table, because then I can keep one ball on the table, because you're working in a small circumference, and every time, like, you're having to move that sweater, because I can't just rotate it and then flip the yarn the way I would with a regular sweater, because I have two skeins, and the skeins aren't carried through because you're doing 8 rows of one color, and then you're doing 2 rows of mosaic, and I'm carrying that yarn up about every third row. I pop up that. So I do find it really easy. Like when I'm at the coffee shop, honestly, I find it pretty easy to work there because I set it on the table in front of me. When I'm at home, I don't tend to sit at my table knitting. Maybe I should, and I would have it done. And I got the fabric pulled out and ready to go because I'm making a skirt to go with that sweater as well. So there's that. And this, and then, excuse me, the other thing that I worked on, well, not worked on this week, was I blocked out, excuse me, I blocked the sweater that I made on Sarah's knitting machine. And it turned out really well. So I had mentioned that on the knitting machine, the fabric was a little denser, and the blocking got rid of all of that. The sweater is so soft and flowy. And so all that I have done at this point is knit the neckband in. I have not stitched up the arms yet because I'm doing like an embroidery thing. And I had to order some things to go with my embroidery thing, and they came in this week. So I'm hoping to get at that or something like that this week and see if I like it. I hope I like it because I have a really cool idea for what I want to embroider. And I'm really happy with the fit of the sweater. The sweater's quite oversized, so it's like a big boxy sweater. So it'll be more like that sort of sweatshirt over, jeans feel. And it feels really nice after it's blocked. So, Isabel's asking what pattern for my skirt that I'm going to make. I'm making the Maeve skirt, and I'm trying to think who the pattern designer is, but it's Maeve, M-A-V-E. It's a 3-tiered skirt, and I really like the construction of it. So that's that. Sarah, so cryptic. Yeah, sorry, so cryptic, but I have no idea where I'm headed with this embroidery idea I have. So yeah, I have to keep quiet on it because it could be a huge flop. So we'll see. Okay. You've got something else.
I do. I did get a couple of tiny tree socks by Summer Lee done.
Good.
So here's the
They're
first
so
one.
tiny.
So this one is actually done in, what's Vicky's company called?
Songbird Fiber.
Songbird Fibers. And this is called Nicobar Pigeon, and it's a sparkle.
Yes.
It's so pretty. This color is so pretty. And I just had enough yarn. There was no yarn left to save after this sock was done. That's all the yarn that I had.
Yeah.
And then this one. And it's just, this is actually just a plain yarn that I dyed using food coloring.
Oh, really? That's so pretty.
Yeah, just doing like little speckles on it. I actually ended up making the base of the dye and putting it into little squeeze bottles and then just putting little drops on different, this was like a while ago. And I did make socks in it. The color didn't hold up super well in socks, but this isn't going to get washed all the time, so it'll be fine.
No.
So, but it was fun to do. I want to try doing something like that again. So that's all I got done, but I did those today. I said to Ross after, I said, well, my mohair sock, I was blocking the one mohair sock and my sweater's blocking. I said, I don't know what to work on. He goes, shouldn't you be knitting some of those tiny tree socks? I'm like, really, Ross? Anyway, so I got to get, whoops, I just dropped my book. I got to get doing more of those. So, yeah. And then do you have any others?
No, nothing else, but I just want to go back. Kim pulled up, where did I start? Oh, there it is. The skirt, Kim says it's the Maeve skirt by Assembly Label. So that's what she's referring to. I didn't think that was the name of the pattern designer, but I could be wrong. It was just something that I saw. I don't even think I've bought the pattern yet, but it was a skirt that I was pretty interested to make. If it's 3-tier, that I'm sure that's probably it. Okay.
Beth wants to know how many grams. I will weigh them, but it's less than 5, I'm pretty sure, but I will weigh them before next week and let you know for sure how many grams it takes.
Okay. And Sean was asking how many stitches on our mohair socks. We're using 48 stitches.
Yeah, both of us are using 48
on a 3mm needle.
Yeah.
So when I did the indoorsy pattern, those are actually 52 stitches for the size that I made, which was the medium. And I have made them with 48 stitches before. So I just double checked because I tried on my indoorsy socks and then I pinched off 4 stitches just to make sure. And there's still plenty roomy. So I did drop down to 48 stitches and probably would stick with that moving forward because it is a really good fit, especially if I want to put them inside of shoes, right?
Yeah. This one I actually, I had debated going down because I actually find that the 48 stitches is a little loose for me. But with the pattern, because the pattern kind of makes the fabric go kind of like up and down. So that actually pulled it in. These ones actually feel like they fit perfectly in the 48 stitch socks.
Perfect.
So for the other, I wasn't sure whether I wanted to go down a needle size or go down stitches. So because when you go down stitches, then you've got less stitches to work with when you get to the heel, as well as the toe, right, for your length. So I think if in another pair, I might go down to a 2.75 just for plain ones and see like how much snugger that is. Because I do find these loosen up when you wear them. So.
Okay. All right. So Isabel is now telling me it's the Maeve skirt. And that was the spelling I thought. So I think, Kim, that yours is another pattern. And this is the one from True Bias, which has 3 tiers and it has a cord in the front. And yes, I'm pretty sure that is the one. So that's the skirt. Okay.
So I do have one more whip. So this one is, I just started it. It's the Twisted Trails Toe Up Socks. It's a test knit for Forest City Knit. So it's Patty from Forest City Knit Girls. It's her pattern. And I do have a picture of it right here. So it's really pretty. It's like, it looks good with like a self-striping yarn. It looks good just like in the short version. I know I've got till sometime in April. I can't remember the exact date, but I actually wouldn't mind doing a pair of both longer ones and a pair of shorter ones. I think I'll do the longer ones for a gift and do the shorter ones for me, because we're getting into hopefully weather where it'll be appropriate to wear shorter socks.
Yes, hopefully.
Yeah. So I've
I like the way that she's got the detail going up from the heel.
Yeah,
and I do like a good toe up sock. I don't do them that often.
I have not. I do not do toe up socks very often, but yes, it's got, so you've got the detail going up the front of the sock, and in I'm using my mouse pointer. You can't see that anyways, but on the short sock, she carries that faux rib or faux cable right up into the cuff of the sock.
Into the cuff. I like that.
Yeah. So it's really cool.
Yeah. Very nice.
So I am doing mine in, this is Timber Yarns, and this color is called Kindness Matters. And this is just one of the skeins. Timber Yarns dyes their yarn 2 matching skeins. And I am using, so I've got one rolled already. So there's the one rolled, but that's what it looks like in the skein. Very
pretty.
And I'm holding it with, or not holding it with, but this is what I'm using for my, I'm going to do toe, heel, and maybe just the very top row at the top of the sock. And I've got it started. And this is, again, I don't do toe up. And when I do toe up, I normally do a Turkish cast on.
Yes.
But this called for Jenny's surprisingly stretchy. Is that what it is? Is it Jenny or Judy?
It's not surprisingly stretchy, but it's Jenny's magic cast on.
Oh, magic. Yeah, Jenny's magic cast on.
Cast on.
The surprisingly stretchy is the bind off.
That's where you weave your yarn in a figure 8 around your 2 needles. Is that the one?
Sort of, yes. I followed a tutorial by Very Pink Knits. So she does have a tutorial linked in it, but I followed a tutorial by Very Pink Knits. So this is what I've got so far. And it's looking really cool.
It is. It's really pretty.
And I'm loving the yarn. I'm going to have to stay up tonight till I get every color in the sock, because I have to see what all the colors look like. And I'm really liking the toe, and the pattern is just a 4-row repeat. I've already got it memorized. So yeah, it's really cool. And then of course the back is just stocking stitch. And then when you get up into the leg of the sock, you're doing the pattern kind of all the way around. So you'll get these really nice columns on each side of the sock that have the cabling go around.
So are you doing the long socks in that
I'm doing
yarn?
the long socks
Okay.
in this. Yes. And then I'm going to do, I don't know what I'm going to do the short ones in yet, but yeah. And I do really like how
it's pretty.
How the,
the toe,
not the surprisingly stretchy,
the magic cast on.
Magic cast on. I really do like how it works. So I had the tutorial up there. You know how the first time you do something, it's kind of awkward.
Feels so uncomfortable.
You're holding it. But I actually, I like the Turkish, but I actually think I like the look of this better for me and how it worked out. So anyway, Peggy said she's in the test knit group too. So.
Yeah. And so is Beth too.
Okay. And Beth too. Yeah. So yeah. So like I said, I'm going to have to stay up and make sure all the colors get in there tonight, but
yeah,
enjoying it so far. So
yeah, it's very pretty. Very pretty.
So that is all that I worked on this week. So
okay.
Got to get some more tiny socks done. Got to get another cannon done.
Well, I was looking
on something new.
I know. I want to cast on all the things. I actually, though, I've really got a sewing bug. So I had to go to the dentist this morning, and then I thought, well, maybe I will just stop. I won't buy. Maybe I'll just stop at Fabricland. What was I thinking? Maybe I'll just stop at first. I went thrifting because I haven't been thrifting for a little bit. Well, I guess I did go thrifting last week with my husband, but thrifting with your husband is not the same as thrifting on your own.
No,
thrifting
Ross
with your
spends
husband
more time than me. I don't want to go with him.
Oh, really? No, I like to look and I have to ponder it. I'm like, would I, wouldn't I? Would I, wouldn't I? And I actually got some really good things. So what I did get was a beautiful double sheet. I like to get those double sheets because if it's a really good, and this is a really nice pinstripe fabric, so that's fantastic to use for quilt backs because all one piece, you don't have to put a seam in it. It's really, really nice. So I like that. So I got that. And then I got a couple of really nice pottery pieces made by somebody named Day, D-A-Y, because she hadn't inscribed them on the bottom, which was kind of sad that they were at the Goodwill store. So I just thought, well, maybe, I don't know, but they were really nice pieces. So I got them. And then I also got a very lovely basket. I like to buy baskets that are like of a certain kind of baskets. Like I like them to be kind of like the antique baskets. And this one is definitely like an antique basket. It's quite a nice basket. So I got that as well. And then I left the thrift. Oh, I also got some yarn for Sarah. I know she's already gone, but Sarah is teaching a knitting group at her school. And she was talking about it at the coffee shop. So I asked her if she needed any more yarn. She said she does. She's looking for like bulky or even bigger or chunky. So I managed to find 4 matching skeins of a bulky weight, really soft yarn. I think it was a Barocco bulky of some sort, really nice. So I grabbed up those 4 big skeins for her too. So I'll drop that off to her. But then I thought, maybe I should just go to the fabric store and see if there's any sales. And of course there were sales. So here's what I got today. This is so cute. I'm really into doing these quilted table runners or like the hot pads or rug mats or anything right now. And I don't know why this has caught on with me. Maybe it's just the idea of being able to get a project done fairly quickly and something scrappy and fun. And none of these are scrappy because I'm out buying all new fabric for them. It's ridiculous. But I wanted something for Easter for my table. And they had, look at these beautiful fabrics.
That's pretty. That's cute.
Isn't that pretty? Oops, I'm going the wrong way. Look at that pretty. They're almost like batik bunnies. So pretty. And I loved this coordinated gingham with little flowers in it as well. And then I thought, okay, I have no idea what I'm going to do with this. So I better buy some coordinating fabrics to make some sort of a runner. And look at how pretty that palette is. Oh, so pretty. So I grabbed those up and they had a sale. All of their things were 50% off. So you have to dive in when you get that.
Yep.
Yeah. And it doesn't, you're right. It doesn't hurt my hands, Julia, to sew. And then I also got this because I have been talking about this for a while. I said, maybe I would get back into bag making. Maybe I would do some. And I have, as you can see behind me, I have lots of fabric to work with, but I saw this today. And friends, I couldn't leave it there. Not for this year, maybe, but look what I got. It's sweater weather and
That's cute.
socks
Yeah.
and scarves. Look at all. This is a knitter's bag if I ever saw one. And then I just picked up a really fun polka dot, I thought, for the trim. It really matches the blue hats well. But seriously, check that out. How flippin' cute is that? So I'll just tuck that away for next year. But anyway, yeah. Pasta bowls are coming back. Yes, big time. Trinket dishes, Kim says. Yes. And yes, I did pass on some trinket dishes though. And while I was looking for something else, I found something else that I made because I dated it, 1998. I didn't even know I had this. I'll tell you what I was looking for. Maybe I shouldn't. I was looking for my marriage certificate. And while I was looking for my marriage certificate, I found this. I don't know why I thought this would be where the marriage certificate is, but I used to do painting as well. So kind of like that folksy painting. Now this is a little ragged, but the strings are nice, but I might take the strings out and put some like jute rope in there and I might hang it on my front door because it's still kind of cute. Look at this little thing that I painted in 1998. The little egg, the chick. I guess this grass is looking a little rough. I could do that up a little different, but I should have said Happy Easter, although I guess it's not a bunny, but anyway, Happy Easter. And so, yeah, I used to really be kind of quite into this painting. I would cut all the wood out and sand it all down and then paint these things. And I have a few of these paintings. I made things for the kids' room and stuff like that. But yeah, I actually dated it 1998. So that's how long ago that was done. But sometimes it's just fun to pull out things that you did a while ago and see what you were into. And some of it holds up through time. Some of the things probably not so much, but I think I could probably refurbish the little chicken and the egg. So did you get anything this week?
Nope.
No?
I did not. I didn't.
There was a Holst sale this week, and I got so far as to load up a shopping cart with some things in it, and then I did not push the button. I'm quite proud of myself for that. I thought, Kelly, you don't need it. You don't need it. So I didn't buy it. I didn't buy it.
I'm going to Denmark, Sweden, and Norway in a month. So
yes, and we've got Knit City coming up as well in May, which is not that far away. I'll be going to Flock Together in April, so I'm pretty confident that I'll get something there. Yeah, I know.
So. No, that's all I have for this week. I do really want to cast on something new, but we'll see. I just don't know what yet.
Yeah.
So
many options. And then, okay. I forgot to tell you this too. So the thing that I'm kind of been thinking about doing is like, okay, you know that I like to do like some stitching and embroidery like on jeans and things like that. Oh, and I bought more templates for that this week too. So I was talking to one of the ladies at Fabricland today, and she whips out her phone because we were talking and I was telling her about my idea for how I want to embroider on this sweater, this plan that I have. And she pulls out her phone and she said that she found this idea earlier this week. And I'm like, I should have gone right back to the thrift store, because she pulled out this picture of somebody had taken fabric squares and then they stitched a hem on it, right? So that it was like a finished fabric square. And then they blanket stitched around the perimeter. And then they picked up with a crochet hook and did a little crocheted edging on it. And they put that together and turned it into a blanket. And it like looked so folksy and quilty, but crochet at the same time. It looked really, really cool. And I thought that just like set off fireworks in my head, because all I could think about was, so I bought these hexies this week, like the English paper piecing hexies, just to try to make these hexies. And then I got thinking, if I made a hexie with a batik fabric And then I crocheted around that in a crochet cotton. How cool would that be to put on as patches on your denim? And while I was at the thrift store today, they must have had 12 brand new spools of that crochet cotton that I used to buy years ago and that I don't buy anymore. And then I thought, oh, should I go back? Should I go back and get a couple of colors? But I didn't. But it's probably still there. It probably could.
Yeah, could be.
Anyway, that's an entirely different rabbit hole to fall down, right? There's like so many things that we can do with our hands. And I said to the lady at Fabricland, I said, like, why? Why can't we just buy time? Why can't we just buy more time, like more hours in a day, so that we could do more of the things that we want to do? And it's really hard to fit everything in, especially when you get in like these like creative mood spurts where something really speaks to you. And then you get thinking, oh, I could do this or I could do that. And honestly, I just don't have the time, but hopefully I will have a little bit more time because we have hired somebody at the fairgrounds and I start training them tomorrow. And then I will be working my way back towards my happily retired self soon. Yeah. And then more crafting time. So there we go. Pardon my excitement. It was just exciting today. It was exciting. There was a lot of good stuff that went on today. So there we go. Okay.
Okay. So don't forget, you need to get your socks in there. You need to get your not selfish items in and get them finished, because that is ending 6 days from today. And we will have prizes for that on the podcast next week.
Absolutely.
So thanks for joining us. We hope that you have lots of crafting time this week, whether it be knitting, crocheting, sewing, embroidery. So many things out there to try and do. And so have a great week, and we will see you next week.
Thanks. Before we go, no. Before we go, I remembered one more question that we had.
Oh, okay.
That I forgot to bring up. Somebody was asking on our YouTube a comment how to ask us questions or how to get a question onto the show. So I'm putting this at the bottom of the screen. This is so we haven't had any prizes in the last couple of weeks, so we haven't flashed this, but this is our Gmail address, knitsandpiecespodcast@gmail.com. If you have questions or anything that you want to get us to know, this is the best place to reach out. This is what we stay on top, or Noelle stays on top of for us. And this is how we will best be able to answer you or add a comment into the show for a question that you may have. So feel free to reach out to us there. And this is our Instagram names at the bottom of the screen as well. And that's where I'm most active. That's my most social media that I'm on. And so you can follow along on our crafty little journeys outside of the show as well. So feel free to meet up with us there as well. Okay. There we go. Okay. Now we can say goodbye.
Okay. So we hope you have an amazing week, and thanks for joining us. And we will see you again next week, same time, same place. Happy knitting.
No fooling.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if we're here.
Yes. Take care, everybody.
Bye, everyone.